Yap, yap. Evie's workshop.
In the deep forest lived Anansi, whose appetite was always bigger than his wallet, or, in his case, his web. One long, hungry day, Anansi was passing by the magnificent home of Osibo, the leopard. Osibo was known for being both fierce and terribly proud of his cooking. Anansi could smell the rich, smoky aroma of Osibo's dinner, a huge pot of seasoned yam and delicious smoked bushmeat. Anansi's stomach rumbled like a distant drum. He knew he couldn't simply ask Osibo for food. The leopard guarded his meals fiercely. Anansi had to use his mind. Anansi approached Osibo's doorway with a worried, frantic look on his face. "Osibo, my great friend, you must help me," Anansi cried out. Clutching his chest dramatically, Osibo, busy stirring his magnificent meal, grumbled, "What is it, little spider? Can't you see I'm preparing a feast fit for a king? It is a matter of life and death, Osibo. My small daughter, just outside the forest, is suddenly taken ill. She only responds to the sound of music, but I must rush to her side. I beg you, noble Osibo, can you hold my talking drum while I am gone? If anyone even touches this drum, it curses the holder with 3 days of terrible hiccups." Osibo, flattered by the title, noble, and seeing no harm in holding a drum, agreed quickly. Anansi handed him a perfectly ordinary gourd drum, placed it carefully under Osibo's chin, and tied the strap snugly behind the leopard's head. Anansi rushed off a short distance, hid behind a large irako tree, and quickly pulled out a long piece of thread. He had secretly tied one end of the thread to a tiny, almost invisible pebble that he had slipped inside the gourd drum before he gave it to Osibo. Osibo returned to his cooking, feeling very pleased with his own generosity. He lifted a spoonful of the delicious food, ready to taste. Just as the spoon neared his mouth, Anansi tugged the thread. Ting! Went the tiny pebble inside the drum. Osibo jumped. "Who dares touch Anansi's drum?" he roared, looking around the empty clearing. He couldn't see anyone. He sighed, shaking his head, and tried to eat again. Ting! Anansi pulled the thread again. Osibo slammed the spoon down. "Stop that! I will not have my fine meal ruined by hiccups." He covered his ears with his paws, but the drum was strapped to his head. Seeing his chance, Anansi crept back toward Osibo's doorway, his small frame hidden in the shadows. He loudly whispered, "Osibo, I'm terribly worried about leaving my drum. I trust you, but just to be safe, if you must move your hands from the cooking, do not touch the pot. Use your teeth and claws to carry the meal to safety." Osibo was so anxious about the curse that he didn't question Anansi's strange advice. He used his claws to lift the entire, heavy pot of yam and bushmeat and slowly, carefully, carried it deep into a nearby thicket to keep it away from the supposed drum toucher. As soon as Osibo disappeared into the thicket, Anansi scurried to the deserted doorway. He quickly untied the long thread from the tree. Ting! 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 He pulled the thread rapidly until the drum was vibrating loudly. Osibo, hearing the frantic sounds of his cursed drum being touched repeatedly, wailed in despair. "Oh, woe is me! 3 days of hiccups! I must rush to my daughter before the full curse takes hold." Believing he was cursed and his meal was safe, Osibo fled toward his daughter's supposed location. Anansi waited until Osibo was long gone. Then, he happily followed the delicious scent into the thicket, found the enormous, untouched pot of seasoned yam and smoked bushmeat, and proceeded to eat until his tiny spider legs could barely carry him. He finished every last bit, When Osibo finally returned, hiccuping and realizing he had been tricked, the pot was empty, and Anansi was long gone, resting in a comfortable web, digesting his meal. The moral of the story: the tale of Anansi teaches us that brains are better than brawn. You do not have to be the biggest or the strongest to succeed. Sometimes, the sharpest tool you possess is your own quick thinking and cleverness.